What's going on, guys? So today, taking a look at the CZ SP-01 Tactical. Now real quick, I'll go ahead and show you. The magazine is empty and there is nothing in the chamber. So let's dive in and talk about this guy a little bit. So this one is 40 Smith & Wesson. So this particular model was discontinued in 2016. It has night sights on it. Now I don't know too much about these, but it does have night sights on it. So they're tritium. They glow at night. They're about like very similar to pretty much like True Glows and things like that. Very similar to the Trigicons. It has a metal frame with rubber side grips on it that work pretty well. Now, when firing this, it's just the thing of I'm not used to it, but it took me a little bit to figure out where my comfortable grip was with it. But once I kind of got that down, it shot really well. I really liked the trigger. Trigger felt really good. That was another thing that I had to adjust to. So I'm used to being able to have my hand further up on a firearm to where like my webbing is in there, but my finger still, so I had to learn to kind of bring my index finger out some so that I could get it more in the palm and not so much in the little knuckle joint there. So that was a learning aspect that it took me a little bit to get used to. It does have a rail, so you can put a light or a laser, whatever you want to, down here, and it's got a decocker, so it'll bring it back. And that is ambidextrous. It's on both sides, so it's there and there. But your slide lock is only on one side. It looks to be like it is reversible for your left-handed shooters, but this is set up for right hand, and I am right-handed, so no reason to worry about that. And then you've got your mag release, which looks to be reversible as well. Not entirely sure about that. And then you've got like I guess you could loop that as like the 19X, how it has that. I don't really see a true purpose for that as far as like civilian use goes. Maybe the military has a different use, because this was designed for a type of military. The slide serration, so it has back and front slide serration as well. Not completely front, but kind of, you know, towards the front. I don't think I'd ever use those. I did use the back slide serrations, you know, pulling it back and everything. I don't really, that's not comfortable to me, especially with how small the actual slide is. I mean, I guess you could press check pretty easy right there, but I just always grab the back. But that's just me. The barrel length is 4.6 inches, so I mean, it is a large handgun. Like I said, it was military purposes, so I mean, very similar kind of length as like a Glock 17, for instance. But it shot pretty accurate. I sent the target out to about, I want to say, I think 20 yards or so, just to see if I could hit my target. Now I was off by about 7 inches, but I think that was more of my trigger finger. I'm still working on improving myself as far as like not knocking it as I pull a trigger, but it shot pretty spot on even at a far distance, and that probably has a lot to do with the length of the barrel and everything, because if I shoot a smaller framed handgun at that kind of yardage, I'm not nearly as accurate. So I wasn't too far off. It was about 6 inches off of the shot that I was trying to place, which I haven't compared it to anything recently, but I feel like that's not too bad for me. So this has a non-corrosive CZ polycoat, black polycoat finish. This one is a little bit older and there's not really any wear on it, so apparently that does hold up pretty good. My friend that loaned this to me, he runs a YouTube channel called Huffler Garage. He was the same one that loaned me the 17. This is his particular like favorite firearm that he has, and so this is what he shoots the most and everything, and it looks to be holding up as far as the finish goes really well on this firearm. The extended beaver tail on here works really well. I didn't run into any kind of slide bite. Now it does cause you to have a little bit lower of a grip, so where you really want to be high and tight up on here, it does cause you to be a little bit lower, but it wasn't enough to where I had any kind of issue, you know, firing the firearm or anything like that. Recoil was no issue whatsoever. It took a little bit more for me to get used to it because that is a different grip angle than I'm used to. So, but it does protect you from any kind of slide bite, but you're also almost an inch lower than the slide, so it'd be hard to get slide bite on this regardless. Now, I'm not overly familiar with hammer fired handguns. That's probably like where the beaver tail and stuff is pretty common with 1911s and things like that, just because your hammer has to be able to come out here, so that's probably not like an uncommon thing. I'm not downing it at all. It's just a little bit different for me. It does take some getting used to, but I could see, you know, with enough practice, this thing being a really super solid firearm. The trigger felt great. It feels really good in the hands. I really like the rubber grips. Those are really good from the factory compared to a lot of your polymer frame guns, just because that rubber helps you a lot. It's like my hoe grip on my 43X. You know, having that rubberized grip definitely improves, you know, keeping this steady in your hand and locking in tight. So on the CZ website, they are making this in 9mm, so it wasn't just in 40, they're making it in 9 as well. I think the 9 is actually still being made, so imagine it's a super solid firearm. It looks like it holds 18 in 9, but this one holds 12 of 40, so different in capacity there, but 12 rounds is still pretty good bit. 40 is not my favorite round by any means, but it's not bad. To be honest, when all this stuff started going on with the whole coronavirus thing, 40 was the last thing to go off the shelves around here. So all the 9 got picked up really fast and all the other ammo, and 40 was still on the shelves at a couple places, but eventually that got bought out as well. So yeah, so super solid firearm. Enjoyed it a bit. Appreciate Huffler Garage for loaning this out to me and letting me test this out. I would really like to get a hold of a lot more hammer fired and get my knowledge up on them and how they feel and everything, so I can start comparing them to other ones. But yeah, other than for that, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch y'all later.